get some things situated. Sometimes it's hard for me to operate around a lot of clutter. What's going on, y'all? Urban Therapy with Sun 752. This is the Daily Go Getism Show, all up in your area Wednesday night. Well, you know, you could say Thursday morning because over here on the East Coast it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and that would make it the next day. But we're broadcasting for the show from the previous day, which would be Hump Day Wednesday, the 16th of July. July is going on up out of here. It ain't gone yet. Y'all got a few more days. Cancer time. Shout out to all of the crabs out there. But Leo time is coming in. Leo season is kicking in. But, you know, let the cancers have their time for the moment. Tonight on the Daily Go Getism Show, we are talking about it's not all the streets' fault. It's not all the streets' fault. So we're going to talk about how some people choose a life of crime, chaos. Man, come on, man. We all know people like that. We may have siblings who have delved in it, parents who have raised us in it, an environment that we may have been born into, friends, family members, co-workers, classmates. But we're gonna, you know how we talk a lot about how it's all the streets' fault. If it wasn't for the streets, he chose the streets instead of boom. He chose the streets instead of bam. He chose the streets instead of us. Well, what we're going to try to figure out tonight is whether the streets is something that we choose, or does the streets choose us, or is it something else? Because we all have choices in our lives, and we all make those choices. And when it's all said and done, we live by the choices that we make. So we're going to get into that tonight, y'all. We're going to get into it and get involved these puzzle pieces right now. Get into it. Get involved these puzzle pieces. What, yo? Get into it. Get involved these puzzle pieces right now. We going to solve. Get into it. Get involved these puzzle pieces right now. We going to get into it. Get involved these puzzle pieces right now. We gonna solve. Get into it. Get involved these puzzle pieces right now. We gonna solve. I said, yo, we choose the streets, but we can find other ways to eat. But the life that we choose will either get us white or bang and bruised. But we have to make a choice, and sometimes the choice get us a Rolls Royce or some jail bars, and we ain't trying to live like that. We supposed to be stars. You know the time. I ain't trying to live this crazy life of crime. But it can happen to anyone when you don't have a hell of a lot of options, son. I am here and I'm trying to make this thing vividly clear. Yo, what's up? Yo, it's like pouring the juice in the cup. I'm gonna win, and I'ma make sure I take help than them. Everything is cool, but I went to school, wasn't trying to cut the fool. Not a bookworm, but I knew that I had a whole lot of shit to learn. It's gonna be alright, we do this thing. Hump Day, Wednesday night. 2 in the morning. Yo, get up, yo. I said it's 2 in the morning. You might yawn. Get it going. We got 2 hours. Gonna make sure it's 2 hours with a lot of power. I'm glad you came through. You know how it goes and what we about to do. You know the time, and I'm trying not to live my life of crime. I've done some things, but I made sure that wasn't my main king. Yo, be a leader, not a follower. If you're gonna follow, don't holler. You know the time it is. You know what rhyme it is. You know what crime is. 25 to life, I ain't trying to live like that. That shit is right. Don't take nothing that don't belong to you, cause that ain't the thing to do. Never put a gun in your face and clear out the space. Cause everybody won't go down, and yo, I ain't gonna get robbed like a clown. Yo, this a little beat, I'm just trying to do this shit. Yo, take a seat. The show is about to start, yo, we do the show. This is our art. All my people's coming through. You know what time it is. What's up with you? Go to work every day. Come home with your kids and your spouse play. Ain't got no spouse, or hopefully you don't have the rats up in the house. Get a couple dollars and makes you feel good. Don't have to be a scholar, but you still learn. Wait till it's really your turn. Just having words of wisdom. You know what time it is, smoke the ism. But don't get too high. Don't do it every day. Don't make it pass by. Don't drink too much. Don't be hanging around suckers and such. My name is Oberson 752. That's the moniker I go. Yeah, yeah. I said, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Peace to my parents. They made sure I had shit as a parent. That I was raised the right way. You know what else can I say? I can say a lot because I could have chose another plot, but not a lot. And because he chose a different kind of way, but that's the way it was. Had to do a few years. I ain't trying to do that shit. I belong out here. Rocking with you. I do a couple of gigs. I ain't smoking no cigs. Drink a little something. I used to drink a lot, but I had to stop. December 8th was my last, and I ain't trying to do that shit because I'm trying to pass. Positivity, sometimes I get down, but not on me. Look at my environment. Gotta say something, can't stay silent. What's the deal? I'ma give you the microphone. Tell me how you feel. 267-874-1949. Call that number, we get it going, you know, no slumber. Nobody sleeping. Yo, before I go tonight, I'm keeping myself intact. Got my business suit on, know how to act. Yo, code switching, ain't trying to hear no complaining and bitching. This ain't really nothing, but I make sure I come through with a little something. I'm gonna sing for y'all. You know how a brother standing tall. I'm gonna blow the nose and show you this fly shit that I wrote. My name is Son, I'm 752, but I'm not the one that's gonna spend the years up in the jail because that's a fail. Wasn't raised like that. I was raised to get a couple of dollars, keep my pocket fat. On your own house, on your own crib, you gotta make sure that you live. Set an example, make sure the example that you set is ample. The kids is watching, the baby's right there. Yo, what you got? Yo, Cheryl Horsey, thanks for coming through. I appreciate me, son, you. You know how we do. Just warming up a little, get to your interview. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hit that like button, y'all. Urban Therapy with Son 752, and this is daily. It's the daily go-getter-mism show. You think it ain't when it is? You think it won't when it wins? We are here, we are in motion. We do this thing, taking off fast lane, no coasting, and everything is gonna be all right. We talking about it's not the streets' fault tonight. I sing, everything is gonna be all right. You know how we do our things 2 in the night. East Coast, you know, not the West. Y'all 3 hours behind, but still find time to shine. And I understand the things that you do, so I appreciate you. This is never gonna stop until my dying day. When I close my eyes for the last time, I'ma say, I appreciate everything that happened in my side. You know how my guy, I try to take y'all to a better place, but I can't always lead you because you're in my face. And I'm not your parent, but I'ma make sure that I do my thing and send you to the heavens. I'm trying to make sure that I'm 7'5" to the Mac 11 is in the stash. And I ain't trying to use that shit, but if you make me do it, just believe it, I'ma do it. So that's what we talk about. It's not all the streets' fault. Yes, the streets have something to do with it, but it's not all the streets' fault. And if it's not all the streets' fault or the streets' fault, we have to identify whose fault it may be. Who is going to shoulder the blame? When you have brothers and sisters, cousins, classmates, friends from around the way, when the streets take them, first of all, we should find out what the streets, what surrendering to the streets mean to you. Because it can mean crime, it can mean drug addiction, it can mean a whole lot of things. And it might mean a lot of things together, or it might mean a whole lot of things separately. But we need to define exactly what surrendering or falling victim to the streets means. Because a lot of times we talk about somebody falling victim to the streets when they are no longer here with us. When they are no longer here. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to get our hardware out of the way. Get our hardware out of the way. Yeah. Y'all know time. Y'all know time. We're going to get this thing right, yeah? Turn the air up a little bit. Turn up the air a little bit. Y'all know I like to spend a little energy. But yeah, we need to find out exactly what falling victim to the streets means. Because what falling victim to the streets means for me might not be the same thing that it means to you. And vice versa, of course. So when I hear somebody talk about, you know, they son or they peoples fell victim to the streets, I automatically start thinking either they're going to jail for a long time, caught up in the justice system, or somebody done hit them up and they've closed their eyes for the last time. That chapter is over, and you know how tragic that can be. You know how tragic that can be. But we all know people who have taken that route. And we say that it's the streets' fault. Some people say it's other things. But we're going to take a look at both of those things, any and all of those things, and try to figure out what it is. What it is. And we should find some solutions, too, because I'm sure that we all have an idea of something that can be done in order to stop this cycle of violence. Man, I live in Philadelphia. I live in the city of Philadelphia, and it is off the chain in this city. You know, and it's funny because I'm so desensitized to all of the violence and the way that people are that I'm not afraid to walk the streets. I'm not afraid to go in any neighborhood. I never take off my jewelry or anything like that. And that's because I'm older. When I was younger, I didn't feel as confident because, you know, young people do things to young people. They don't always do things to older people. And now I'm the old head. You know what I mean? This beard, this is my protection now. This actually stamps me. I'm the OG. So they don't really fuck around with the OG, but the OG can get robbed. The OG could get robbed like anybody else. But, you know, the more time you spend out in those streets, depending on what out in those streets mean, eventually the streets will claim you. Eventually, the streets will claim you. So that's what we're talking about tonight, man. What is it? What does the streets claiming somebody mean to you? Let's get into it, y'all. Let's get into it. I'm here. Y'all here. Everybody's here. Let me go ahead. We can turn up our Turn up our sounds here. We can get ready. We can get ready to get petty. Ready to rock steady. What up, y'all? How y'all feeling? How's everybody doing today? Cheryl Halsey is up in the house. I Heart Oakland is in the house. Lawrence Schofield, what's good? What's good? What's that? Yo, what's that crown thing? What crown thing? What you talking about? Let me see. Wes, what up, Wes? What's good? What's good? People got a crown. Yo, why do people get a crown with numbers? Why do people got a crown with? Oh, that's the I know what you was talking about. That's the fan rating thing. It's the fan rating system. Hold on, let me click on that shit. Top fans. So it's rated by how many times you chat, how many times that you make a comment, and that puts you in the top fan category. And the top fan category, but not everybody has it. Not everybody has it. I'm not sure if you have to register for it or whatever, but that's how that's going down. You said, okay, all right. Oakland says, nah, if you had a diamond studded out chain, I'd rob you, son. Well, you might. You might. But by the grace of God, I haven't gotten robbed out there, but I have been robbed before. I have been robbed as late as 2001, March 23rd. No, I will never forget that day. March 23rd was the last time anybody ever robbed me, face to face. And they didn't stick a gun in my face or beat me up. Well, not one of them beat me up. I was jumped by a bunch of dudes or whatever. I fought them off, and I definitely escaped with my life, but it was a rough joint, and it was definitely personal. To this day, I never found out exactly what that was about. And they did take my chain. And it took a while. It took a while for me to start wearing chains again. So that happened in 2001, March 23rd, 2001. I didn't buy another chain until 2007. Not that I was ever scared to, but it was like, chains are expensive. And if I was going to get another one, I was going to get one that like no less than 40 inches. So, anyway, I don't think you will rob me, son. All right. Oakland says, ever heard of chain snatching? I did that when I was 16. I'd run fast as I could. Yeah. I would absolutely never consider taking somebody's chain. I would absolutely never think of that. People who wear jewelry don't snatch other people's chains. It's like an unwritten rule and maybe a code. It's not a good look. Because if that person, if you want to take somebody's chain, and since we talking about the streets, we can talk about that. If you want to take somebody's chain, you better make sure that person never sees you again. Because when you do a crime on somebody, wherever you live starts to get smaller and smaller. You will see that person again. Just like you saw them that first time, the universe will match y'all back up again. And trust me, if anybody ever sticks me up and they don't shoot me, or even if they do and I survive, when I see you again, I'm going to make sure that we don't see each other again. I'm sure you can understand that. We will never see each other again. Not face to face, we won't. You said, Oakland's so big. I don't think they would. I don't think they won't see me. Like I said, Oakland ain't all that big. That's number one. It's not all that big. And it gets smaller and smaller when you do dirt. People know each other. Plus, we got the internet now. Man, the streets be talking, baby. The streets be talking. Make sure y'all hit that like button, y'all, as we, sashay in and out of here. Y'all know how it go. We start slow and we rise. We go. We gonna get there. We gonna get there. Everything is gonna be all right. So yeah, it's not all the streets' fault. I was thinking about this because I have watched so many young black men. Drop out of school, graduate to the block. Literally, man, something happened to me today and it made me feel good today. Something happened to me today that made me feel excellent. And it made me feel bad at the same time. There was this young cat that I watched grow up around here. He was a good cat. He was a good young boy. And we talking about 26 years ago. Because I've been living around here for 26 years. 26 years. So I was 30 when I moved around here. Well, I was 29. I was 29 when I moved around here. And, I'll be 55 next month. So we talking about a heavy 26 years. And I watched these young kids, in middle school, go to high school, drop out of high school, start selling drugs on the block. And that's pretty much where the story ends. Now, fortunately, I haven't seen a lot of these cats die. And the ones that did died after they stopped messing around. After they got out of the streets, that's when they died. That's why the shit is crazy. But I saw this young cat today, and he been locked up for 7 years. And Oakland, when I was saying that the world gets smaller and smaller, I'm gonna show you how the world gets small. I was talking about this kid in a dream today. I think it was a dream, and I'm not sure if I was awake, because I remember his street name. Around here, especially when you sell drugs, you don't normally use your government name. People normally call you and refer to you by your street name. So his street name was Flip. We're not going to get into his government name, but his street name was Flip. And I hadn't seen Flip in what I thought was about 5 or 6 years. But when he saw me today, I was driving down the end of my block. And at the end of my section of my block is only 1 block long, 1 city block long. And like I said, I was thinking about this kid last night. I couldn't remember whether I was dreaming about him or just thinking about him. But what I remember was I was over this chick house that lived near here, like a few blocks around, basically around the corner. I remember her sister who was around his age frame and whatever, said, yeah, they was looking through old pictures and they was like, oh yeah, this the Flipper and blah, blah, blah. And they were pretty much reminiscing over all of they friends and people and people from the neighborhood and all of that. And when you live in North Philly and you going over these pictures, man, a lot of these pictures of people are going to be people who ain't here no more. Whether they locked up or whether they gone, dead, moved away, whatever, things happen. This is a hard place to stay all of your life if you're not doing the right thing. Real shit. So when I got to the end of the block, I saw him. He just happened to be visiting the block. He works at a local supermarket. He had on his uniform. He had on his shirt. And I was like, when he saw me, when I saw him, because I saw him before he saw me. And I was like, yo, stuck my head out the window. Yo, he came over to the joint and hugged me through the window like, yo, Mr. O, what's going on, man? He was showing so much love. He was like, yo, man, he was like, I was down for 7 years. And he said, listen, I'm just trying to get myself together. I got to get my kids together and everything. Because, when I left When I left, they was young. You know, they was toddlers or whatever. My oldest is 13 now and blah, blah, blah. This shit almost brought tears to my eyes, yo. This shit almost brought tears to my eyes because this cat was on the road to ruin. He was on the road to ruin. And he made it back. A lot of times cats go to jail and they learn more shit on how to be worse when they get home. But evidently he's not going out like that. And this is one of those cats who didn't have a big chance in life. His mom was a straight crackhead. I remember she used to be so skinny, I thought she had AIDS, and she used to be pregnant. And it was wild because I would see her pregnant 1 month, visibly pregnant, all skinny, but with the belly. Then I wouldn't see it with the belly. A few months later, I see it with the belly again. Like, what the hell? There was a lot going on. And I know he didn't have any positive male influences in his house or, you know, in his life or whatever, man. And I don't know. To see him just visiting the block, not being on the block. So I was like, yo, my dude. I said, how long you been home? He said, Mr. Oh, I've been home since February. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. I said, my dude, I was just thinking about you last night. So if he been home since February, that means I haven't seen him. So he been doing the right thing. He came home and got right. I don't know if he had to go to a halfway house first or whatever the case may be, but he doing good. He was only coming to see, see what his old homeboys was doing, but he wasn't coming around here to purchase nothing. He wasn't coming around here to sell nothing. He wasn't coming around here to be nothing. So the story was inspiring to me. That was inspiring to me because this happened as I'm going to work. So I felt good. But at the same time, I felt bad. It almost brought a tear to my eye because he didn't have to make it. When he was locked up, I'm not close enough to his family and nothing, to put no money on his books or you know what I mean, get on a list to go see him or nothing like that. But then again, how can I really say that? Because like I knew this dude. I knew his first name. I knew his last name. I know where he lived. So, shit is wild, man. Shit is wild. So I got to thinking. The streets, we would say with somebody like that the streets claimed him. He fell victim to the streets. But did he? What up, Kim's Wims? What up, Kimmy? What's going on, my man Troy Diesel? Troy Get It Done. Diesel is in the house. My brother, my mellow, my man. What's good? But yeah, do the streets claim you? Or do you lay claim to the streets? Think about the people that you know that chose a life of crime, whatever that crime is, whether it's sticking people up, whether it's getting involved in the drug trade, or some other street related crime. And when we talk about the streets, y'all, you can be doing legitimate things in the streets and the streets can still claim you. And when I say they claim you, I mean they take over your life or maybe take your life. You can be out here Uber driving, just driving your Uber, man, just trying to make ends meet, making some extra money, doing the right thing. Well, people stick up Uber drivers. People carjack Uber drivers. People beat up Uber drivers. The same way that they used to do cabs. People who drove cabs. They knew that people who drove cabs had cash on them. A lot of cab drivers lost their lives driving cabs, just trying to make it, man. Just trying to take the positive route. The streets. Is it the streets' fault? But that, the reason I brought up the Uber driver or the cab driver or whatever is because you're still out there in those streets. The streets aren't just the corners. They aren't just the abandoned houses. They ain't just the drug spots. They ain't just the back alleys. They ain't just the drug alleys. The streets are outside. So when you outside, the longer you stay outside, something can happen to you outside. Is it the streets' fault? Did the streets claim you, or did you claim the streets? Because whether you're doing something negative or whether you're doing something positive, if you decide to do it out there in them streets, the longer you out there, the more risks that you take of the streets getting the better of you. But is it the streets' fault? Is it the streets' fault? We need to have a talk. Let's have this talk. Right now, brother. Right now. Oakland says, you haven't seen this cat since. No, he came. I haven't seen him since 2000. If he been down 7 years. I haven't seen him since 2018. But he been home since February. So my point was, he came home in February and didn't bring his ass around here. I don't know if he's been around here, doing, whatever time, but he might not have a lot of time to be coming around here just chilling because he don't live around here no more. That's number one. And he works. He's working. That man ain't had no job before. And you got to understand, I've been living around here 26 years old. So if I moved around here, these cats are in their 30s, maybe damn near 40. They too old to be on the block anyway. Some of them still here, still beating the block, OG style, overtime, AARP of the block, corner retirement plan, 401k, pension. It don't make no sense, but it is what it is. You right. F44, bro, you don't have the answers. I ain't say I had no answers. I got questions. You come here for questions, not answers. As simple as that. But you can best believe if I don't have an answer, you don't have an answer. You probably don't even have a question. Matter of fact, I'm not gonna say probably. I know you don't have you don't have the questions or the answer. Cause you are how did you say you are a dickhead. Yes, you're a dickhead. It's good looking. My man Jeff Sprayberry, what's good?
You have a call from
Sure.
What up, my dude? How you feeling?
You damn right I'm gonna call it early tonight.
Well, all right. Well, here
Damn
you are.
Right. Give me the slogan, bro. Give me the slogan.
Yo, I'm feeling like a real man should. You wish you had, you
what
wish that you could. No doubt.
Before you start, I gotta say something to Brother Oakland. If you were to try to snatch the chain or rob my brother in Christ and brother for life, the only thing I gotta say to you is that what happened to that boy? What happened to that boy? He was talking shit, put a cap to that boy.
Yo, this dude talking about he was in the chain snatching. He lying his fucking ass off. Because it's such a low level crime. And you put yourself on the radar. First of all, you snatch the chain, you breaking the chain. So the only way you gotta put yourself out there with the jewelry, that might be insured and all that. It's not dude, sell drugs. Like, that's a weak ass crime. Snatching shit? I could see. No, I ain't gonna fuck with that. He lying.
I do know he was real fast, but I don't think he fast in a hollow point. A hollow point always wins.
Hey, they ain't snatched nobody's chains.
But then when you take the hollow point on, that ass whooping hurt.
Listen, motherfucker run by snatching chain, trip his dumb ass. Trip his dumb ass and wail on him.
I just need to see a picture of Oakland. If he is a big fella, you ain't snatching no chain.
He definitely ain't snatching no chain. He ain't snatching no chain anyway. Anyway, I ain't never heard a motherfucker admit to snatching chains. I heard motherfuckers admit to sticking up somebody and taking the chain, but I ain't never heard nobody talk about snatching chains. Everybody and anybody I've ever known that snatched chains got their ass whooped somewhere along the line. Whether it was in the commission of snatching a chain or whether it was later on when that motherfucker was like I was telling Oakland, when you rob people, wherever you live gets smaller and smaller. You're gonna see that person again. You may have never seen them before, but it's just like when you buy a car. When you buy a new car and it's a color or a brand that you don't see on the streets like that, guess what happens?
I know where you go with that.
Guess what happened when you put it out on the street? Everybody got the same car and the same color. Yeah, you ain't paying attention until motherfuckers paying attention to you. Start snatching.
And I know one thing: you better not never go down. You better not never go to the mall. Better not never.
Man, listen, the world gets smaller. I've never had a run-in with somebody, a negative run-in with somebody and never saw them again.
That's the truth.
Ever. I saw them again. Whether I saw them again weeks later, months later, years later, I always saw them. And when it's on, it's on. You know, might bury the hatchet, might not.
Yeah, I always tell people like this: you rob me, you take it. I'm gonna give it to you, but just don't let me see you down in the gallery. I'm throwing you off the rafters.
See, the thing is, if a motherfucker is about 5 feet away, he got you. At close range, I take my chances.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? I take my motherfucking chances. Because first of all, on a big gun, the trigger ain't that easy to pull. That motherfucker might be weak. That's number one. And number two, if when you slow, you blow. You know, he got this joint, boom. You know what I mean? You might lose your hearing, but you still got your life.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a chance you ain't going to get a chance to straighten that arm out. But anyway, fuck all that. Anyway.
The streets. You know, I do, and I appreciate this topic too, because this is something. I think you was talking about some of this stuff earlier. You know, we always periodically talk about how the streets is and how these young boys is moving and how back in the day how we used to move. You know, the streets is always going to be undefeated. The streets is almost undefeated, just like the internet. They're one and the same.
Yeah, you right though. You right.
You know what I mean? You know, so at the end of the day, regardless of anything, what makes it more, it's not, we could say that the reason why the streets catch them is because of either lack of love or a lack of a father in the household, or they're a latchkey kid, because they single parent household where their parents is working 1 or 2 jobs, you know. But one of my things is being a follower, not a leader. You know, what I feel as though the reason why these streets can latch on to these youngins, or the reason why the streets never latched on to me, is because I developed a conscience at an early age, number one. And number two, with that conscience came wisdom and knowing I need to be a leader. I am not following you to do no stupid shit. There's nowhere in God's green earth I'm going to follow you. And it's going to be a trickle down effect of me doing stupid shit. You know what I mean? So that's what the lack of situations going on right now. Because today's kids, number one, they other than the father, other than the latchkey kid, other than, you know, lack of love, because you can still have 2-parent households. And then don't get the love that you want and need. You know, because they're so more into each other, or they so more into the bills and the financial situation in the house, that they don't give you that. They don't even give you that inspiration. They don't even say, "Good job in school, son. You're doing a tremendous job." But you don't tell your daughter, "You're beautiful. You're beautiful, boo boo." Know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you allow the streets to latch onto them. So when the hustler Johnny, when the hustler John or Pookie or Too Short from Oakland sit back and say, "What's going on, sweetheart? You gonna suck this shit?" Now you mad because now he breaking your daughter back, and after you didn't say nothing to her all these years just to tell her how beautiful she was. Your son out there with a 9 on the side, a Glock on the side of his head, all because you didn't say good job, or you didn't give him a pat on the back, or you didn't just say, I'm here for you, son, whenever you need. So at the end of the day, these kids today, the conscience don't kick in until after the fact. And that's the fucked up part. You can't be in that sweatbox, and after that adrenaline go down, you be like, "Hey, why did I do that shit?" It's too late. You did it now. I yield to you, my brother.
Well, I want to ask you a couple of questions. What did your mom do for a living?
My mom was an admin for the labor union. The labor union. Matter of fact, right down there on Broader Ridge. First it was on Broader Ridge. Now it's right across the street. They have the
Local 3.
The DC, the labor union building right there across the street.
Local 322.
Down the street from yup.
The black union.
Yup.
Okay.
She was right there. Sam Slayton.
Oh yeah, that's my man. There. Yeah, I know him.
Yeah, that was she was there till she retired.
Yeah. What did your uncles do for a living?
Well, my Uncle Boo, he was in the service, and then he was in the Army, and then he worked for the Social Security Department down in Spring Garden. My uncles every one of my uncles and my grandfather and my father all were longshoremen, worked down the waterfront, Pack Avenue Terminal. So all of them did that. That's all my uncles on that side.
What did your dad do for a living?
Longshoreman.
Did your mom have any uncle or aunties?
Well,
I mean, did your mom have any brothers or sisters? That's what I meant to ask.
Yeah, I told you my uncle, her brother went in the Army and then came home.
Okay, so you was talking. Okay, okay, I got you. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so do you see what happened around you? Your mom worked,
right?
Made enough money to be able to take care of you. Your dad worked, whether or not he was in your life or not,
right?
But he worked,
right?
Your uncles, on both of y'all sides, you know what I mean? They set an example for you. I didn't hear you say none of them say nothing about none of them being in the streets, none of them being no pimps or drug dealers or hustlers and nothing like that. Now maybe some of them were or whatever, but that's not what you mentioned. You know what I mean? So the reason I asked you that is because you grew up with examples of people who you saw make a decent wage, a living wage, and go through the process of basically going to school or getting training, getting a job, taking care of their families. That's the reason you didn't get in the streets. The reason, well, and let me say this. That's the reason I think that you didn't choose the streets. Because that wasn't your first option. Now, had you grew up like some of the families that I'm well aware of, where either you're on drugs or selling drugs, like your mom and your dad was, or your dad was a straight thug, well-known thug around the way, always on his way back from jail. Either he just went in or he just coming back, that kind of shit, on drugs. You know, all of your aunts, all of your aunts, they went into some prostitution type shit and drugs. All of your cousins sell drugs. All of your and I'm talking about your older cousins or whatever. You don't like, there were no positive examples. There were no examples that said go to school, you know, do what you got to do and make money a legal way and you'll be okay. When you grow up around that type of environment, you have to take into consideration when you're young, you're very impressionable. So the people who are teaching you from a very young age have not taught you that going to school is important, finishing school is important, you know, getting a job, raising a family, getting married, having children, setting a decent example. They haven't taught you that those things are important. So your opportunities to seek a legal living is more limited than somebody else whose family did nothing else except for go to school, go to work, and raise their families and try to make a decent living. Like, black people are eligible for the American dream too. It may look a little different, but it still has the same. It still has it may taste different, but it has a lot of the same ingredients in it. You understand what I'm saying? So when I say that it's not all the streets' fault, it's not. The streets will always be there, but it's up to your upbringing, and in your environment is part of your upbringing too. Because you can live around.
You can be a property of your own environment, most definitely.
But what I mean by that is whatever's happening next door, across the street, around the corner, in the next neighborhood, that don't have nothing to do with what happens in your house. Because in your house, you got to deal with your rules, your conversations that you hear, your strategies for making it out here, your budgeting plans, your educational plans. Your parents set your educational opportunities. I'll bet you $100 that from the age of 5, you knew what you were going to do when you graduated high school.
Well, I'm going to elaborate on that, what you just said.
Do you owe me 100?
No, I don't, because I'm going to break it down to you.
Go ahead.
Even if I did owe you 100, I would give it to you, you know, in small bits and pieces.
Look. What up, Buana?
You know, but it's not, you know, there's certain, like in my life, there was 2 fears I had that didn't let me sway that to the negative side. It was the fear of God and the fear of John Gladden, my grandfather. He ruled with an iron belt. The way his belt, he had the belt, like I don't think I told you, his belt was almost the size of the belt that you used to shave the razor to get it sharpened. And when it hit, it stuck to you like Velcro. It hit, and even if you wasn't sweating, it will hit and like. I think I was the first Kuta Kinte, and I was the first one that said Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because, and see, the thing about it is that I didn't want to hurt nobody. I didn't want to hurt nobody or have people in the people that was bringing me up. I didn't want to disappoint them. So I didn't want to get involved with the bullshit. I didn't want to get involved with the drugs. Plus, I had friends that I was growing up with that was already involved, and it was like, no, we're not letting you. That's not something that you're not part of that. That's not something that because pretty much I didn't get what I want, but my mom got me what I need. So it wasn't so much that I was a needy child or I was a person of that. I had, even if my father was there, he wasn't there. His father was there. I mean, when he was at work, right? I had I had my uncle across the street, another grandfather across the street, grandmother across the street, and a shitload of aunts across the street that was there for me. You know, and in the neighborhood I grew up in, even though it might have been one of the worst neighborhoods in South Philly at the time, it took a how to say it takes a what to raise a kid?
A village.
It took it, and that's what it was. It was a village. You can call them newsy neighbors, you can call them whatever you want to, but they were very protective of the children in that neighborhood. And back in the day, when they used to go shooting and they knew they was going to go do some type of shooting and stuff, they'll go to the parents and be like, look, get your kids in the house. We're getting ready to take care of something. Not that they just didn't want to hurt nobody's child.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, you got to respect that. You don't want nobody getting shot, but you darn sure didn't want the person that they was going to shoot to get killed. But that's part of the property of the environment. That's part of it.
Nah, No, go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
So the thing about it is, I didn't know anything about what I wanted to be until Mary Glad, my grandmother, came in my life, because she took me out of one school and put me in the better schools. She put me in Durham on 16th and Durham Elementary on 16th and Lombard. Then when I graduated from there, I went to Greenfield. Then I went to Bach, because she knew that the computer age was coming. She knew that. She said that you're gonna have to brush up on some things. So at the end of the day, you know, the people, the units that was part of me, and you know, the community that I grew up in, and them newsy ass neighbors that was like aunts and uncles, because yes, they were able to beat my ass and take me home, and my mom beat my ass. You know, so I mean, that's the environments. I'm pretty sure some of us in the chat grew up in those same environments, and I also I developed a conscience. I developed some type of thought process of, if we all part of this group and we all brothers right here, and you got a problem with another brother across the tracks, because if you're from South Philly, you know what across the tracks is, right? Then you fight that one you got the problem with, because all them other bulls that's over there, the one you get ready to fight with, and all his friends, they're my friends too. So yeah, you fight them, and if they jump in, then we all jump in, we all fighting together. But I'll be damned if we just go over there and fight them for no fucking reason, because you scared to fight him.
Okay.
So that's how my upbringing came about, and that's how I followed things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's how I followed. My grandfather passed away in March of 1984. I believe it was either the 14th or the 15th. No. He passed away in February. His funeral was in March.
Okay.
So the thing is that he never died to me. His spirit scared the shit out of me. Because I said that even if I did bad, and just think about this, me being 14. In my head, I'm like, even though my grandfather's gone, I know his spirit will fuck me up if I do something wrong. Son, I'm not lying to you. I felt that way.
Okay.
Because that's how much respect I had for him. That's how much love I had for him. So even though he wasn't here, to me, he was still here. So I had to still respect certain aspects of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, the part that I hear, and you mentioned this many times, I don't even know if you noticed, but what you mentioned and talking about your grandfather, your grandmother, and your aunt, they gave you options. Choosing what school you're going to go to. Trying to find the best one that will give you the best opportunity to get the best opportunity. to get the best education. That's not a small thing. It's not a small thing.
That's the truth.
The truth. It's not. Because you look at the educational system, the Philadelphia public educational system, in a different way than other people did. You had plenty of friends that lived right around your way. They had one option, whatever school was closest. Same with elementary school, same with middle school, and same with high school. You know plenty of people that went to whatever the closest elementary school was around your way. You didn't go there. The closest middle school that was around your way, you didn't go there. And and they probably went to Southern. You didn't go there. You could probably name about 10 to 20 of your friends that you grew up with around the way that followed that same thing. Their parents weren't as involved in their educational process as you were.
Well, definitely, I can count a lot.
But that's my point. That's my point.
No,
so without...
No, I agree. Everything that you said before I start talking again, number one, you enlightened me on one thing. But number two, I agree with you 1,000%.
No,
I agree with you 1,000%.
That's cool. But like the same way that you hear it, other people need to hear it too. Because when I was thinking about this show and when I was writing it up, I was thinking like, do we choose the streets or do the streets choose us? Because if you listen to a lot of people, they make it sound like the streets chose them, or like that was the only choice that could be made. You know what I mean? A lot of these hip hoppers, and I'm talking about old ones and new ones. I've heard them say, you know what I mean? Either there's only two ways to make it out of the hood, and that's whether you it's either sports or selling drugs. And I'm like, what?
You hit him with the biggie, whether you slinging crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot.
I hated that fucking line. I was like, man, you sound dumb as shit. You sound fucking like sound like a fucking fool. What you mean? You ain't shooting no fucking jump shots? Oh, because you slinging rocks? So everybody who grew up in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, sold rocks or played basketball? Not the ones I know.
In Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, that same person that said that was smart as shit. That's why he couldn't do the work. Because number one, when you so intelligent, when you smart, so fucking smart, you become bored with the curriculum.
I never believed that shit.
Well, I'm gonna tell you why I believe. Let me tell you how I believe it. I had a niece my firstborn niece got skipped 2 times, and guess what school she had to go to because of her behavior problem? She had to go to Orton Reed because Girls High turned her down because of her behavior, and her behavior was bad because when she finished the work so quickly, she bullshitted.
Okay,
so that's why I say that. But
you have to have the education is not just about whether you can pass the test or not.
True.
That's just like a job is not whether you can do the work or not. So you have to have the complete package. But what I'm saying is, like I said, you got rappers like Biggie, and Biggie said other dumb shit too. The D's, I was just trying to make some money to feed my daughter. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
fuck out of
here. Like my little big brother alone, man.
He said too much dumbass shit. I'm just trying to make some money to feed my daughter. Motherfucker, everybody got a fucking child. It ain't got to sell drugs to feed your child. Like what is? Hold on. You said if you got to sell drugs,
dream to him though.
If you got to sell drugs to feed your, I want to know what the fuck this little bitch is eating. Elephants, giraffes. The fuck? I'm just trying to make some money to feed my daughter. All right, motherfucker. We got a can of Hormel. We got a can of Hormel and some. We got a can of Hormel and some high C.
Eating cheese days and Welch's grape.
Anyway,
T-Bone
man.
State.
No, I ain't trying to hear that shit you talking about. Fuck out. You know what I mean? We're not doing this dumbass lyrics. Fuck all that dumb shit. Anyway, so like I said, man, you know, you listen to this kind of shit, you know, because Biggie was a big influence on certain people. So you listen to this shit like, yeah, he right. It ain't it is only one. What the fuck is you talking about? That motherfucker had more opportunities. He chose the streets. The streets didn't choose him. Shit, you said you either sling rocks or you got a wicked jump shot. Motherfucker, you on the mic. You ain't even choose the options you talking about. And you made it out. You ain't make it out by selling drugs. You made it out by rocking the mic. This shit is fucking ridiculous. But once you hear this shit from people that you love, honor, respect, and admire long enough, then it becomes your reality. So if the people that you love, honor, respect, and admire are your foundation that you came from, your mom, dad, cousins, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, grandparents, godparents, and all of that. If they are into that dumb shit, then the likelihood that you'll choose that as an option is high. I've seen plenty, just like your niece that you talking about. She could do the work. She was a genius on the mental, but on the social side, she was all fucked up. Well, guess what? You don't get farther until you get that together. Because after you get out of school, it ain't about what tests you pass anymore. You got to get you have to round yourself. You have to expand yourself to be able to balance out the books and the street smarts or the office smarts and you know the social part of it. That's the part that gets people way farther than just being book smart. But when we talk about it ain't all the streets, it's not all the streets' fault. I don't think that it is. Because you can do something positive out there in the streets and still get popped like a Huey P. Newton or Martin Luther King or Malcolm X or a whole lot of activists and good guys. A whole lot of heroes, sung and unsung. A whole lot of them, the streets claim them too while doing the right thing. So the streets are a gamble. But what leads you to the negative part of the streets often starts with the foundation that you came from. Because either you find a love for the streets at a young age or you don't. One thing is for sure, the streets ain't for late bloomers. That's a fact. You ain't starting to sell drugs when you in your 20s. It's too late. Well, maybe not too late. But it's damn near too late. It's damn near too late.
But the thing also about that situation right there is that I believe what you're saying is true. But I also believe that, like, for example, you know, I used to sit back and I used to tell not just my nephews. Like one of my nephews had his first son. He was out there. He wasn't out there, you know, selling the drugs, this, that, and the other, not that I know of, or he might have been dibbling, dabbling. But what I always told him, I said, listen, when you have your first son, you need to go out there and get any job. I don't care if it's at a fast food restaurant. I don't care if it's at Save-A-Lot. I don't care, wherever you need to go get a job, go get it. Because if you're not doing anything legal, you're gonna do something illegal to make sure you gotta provide for your son. So you know when you got people coming up and you got uncles and everything trying to guide you in the right direction. Because with my nieces and nephews, I tried to always guide them in the right direction. Sometimes I had to put hands on them. Sometimes I didn't. Sometimes the words attached to them and they understood it. Sometimes it didn't. Shit. Same thing with my children. You try to guide them and you try to lead them. And then when they get older and they make their decisions, the only thing I always told them is that remember the decisions you make, you're grown. The decisions you make are your decisions. Do not hold me or your mother accountable for the stupidity of things that you did. You know, so the streets can grab the streets can grab you. And I've seen guys and everything that had everything that you said, that they had everything. They had mother, father, they had everything. But the streets grabbed them because they wanted to be a follower.
No, it sounded to me that sounded to me like they grabbed the streets.
Well, yeah, they grabbed the street, right? They grabbed the street, and they allowed themselves to be part of they grabbed the street, and they allowed the street to grab them back just as much.
I don't know about that because they had other options. I've known people who didn't have options. They just didn't. It sounds ridiculous, but they didn't.
So when you said you had other options, yes, they did. They had options. As a kid, the only options they had is seeing what their mother and their father and anybody else behind them was doing in a positive thing.
What you mean? That's the only option you need.
That's the only option, but that's not when you're embedded with the friendship and the bonds with your friends, and they doing something else. Some of these guys are so weak.
Yeah, but what do you? Wait. Who's your first influence? Your parents or your friends?
Your parents, yes. Yes.
Okay.
Your elders. Your elders are your first influence.
Now I'm talking about from the womb until you get your first friend. Your parents have they got first dibs of your influence. Nobody can get to them first. Nobody can go before them. So one thing about the streets, one thing about selling drugs, being a thief and all of that, one thing about them is that they will train you. They will train you. They will not just put you out there and tell you to sell something. You get trained on how to sell drugs. You don't get to hold no drugs in the beginning. You ain't nothing but a lookout. You watch to see if the cops coming or whatever, or you might get a chance to hide the drugs. Here, you take this paper bag and you put it under the tire of that abandoned car, and that's all you do. After you're trusted enough to do that. All right, now maybe you can start holding a little something, but just a little something, not a lot, not a lot. After, okay, all right, you can hold drugs. Okay, now you can start serving. Just a little bit. See how you do. See if you come back with the money you supposed to come back with. It's damn near making sure the cash register till is right. If you sell this many rocks or whatever you selling, you should have this much when I come to get my money. And that's how much you better have when I get back. Now, when I get my money, you get this much. But you better have my money. If you ain't get locked up or nobody ain't robbed you, this is the money that I better have when I come back tonight. Or whenever I come back around. You ain't got it, you better find a way to make up the difference. Because this ain't McDonald's where you can just make a mistake on the cash register or whatever, and you just get a write-up or something. Don't work that way. Don't work that way. You will not be skimming off the top. So the streets will train you. Well, guess who else? Guess who else will train you? You know, just like you can't just tell your kids go get a job. You show your kids how to work at a job, whether it's cleaning, whether it's stock, you know, whatever job they have, whatever job you do, you can show them how to do that. But the preparation that you use for your children gives them more options. Because like I said, the streets will train them because it's in the interest It's in the interest of the street operation to make sure that everybody around them is trained. Because one thing about the streets, you will be held accountable. You will definitely be held accountable. You might get your ass whooped, or you might lose your life, but you will be held accountable. So you have to exercise discipline in whatever you do, but you can save your children from choosing that option if you give them better options to be able to make some money. All right, wanting to be hip, wanting to be cool, wanting to be in the in crowd, wanting to, glorifying being a thug and all of that kind of shit. All right, I get it. I definitely get it. However, that should never be the only thing that you know how to do. Like when I was explaining to you, my man who came home after a 7-year bid, he never had a job before. This job that he working at right now is the only job he ever had. Now, when I was younger, when I was in my 30s and me and my dad, we was running our business and all that, I tried to get all of these cats like, look, you can come down Broad and Girard with us. You know what I'm saying? You know, help us clean out. They ain't want to do that shit. They ain't want to do that shit. Because they was getting money. They was getting money selling drugs. I understand why selling drugs is attractive, because you get money. When all is said and done, you're not making as much as you probably will be making as much as you would if you had just a good job. But you getting the money, you're handling more money than you get to keep, just like a real job. But the training is right there. It's right there on the block, right there around the corner, right there around the way. So as a parent or as a family, we have to just like you make your kids do their homework, so when they go back to school, they'll be prepared for their classes. It's the same way we have to do with our kids going out into the workforce. We know that if our kids graduate high school and they go to the Army, the first thing the Army does is train you. The whole thing that the Army does is train you. Army, Air Force, Marines, Navy. Train. It ain't just, being an infantryman and infantrymen and fighting on the front lines. They have jobs that you can do based on your aptitude to be able to do certain jobs that will qualify you. So it's the same thing at any job that you get outside of the military, any job that you get. You may have the qualifications based on your application or your resume and your experience to do the job, but they still train you when you get on any job that you take, because they want you to be able to do it in a way that they have set forth so it'll benefit their company. So what I'm saying is, when you have positive examples of how to make a decent living and how to live a peaceful life around you as a young person, that those options weigh heavily on you. Even if you choose to be wayward, even if you choose another way of life, you still had those positive examples in your arsenal. And one day, if you keep living, you probably will turn to that, because that's your most viable option, So, it ain't all it ain't all the street's fault. I want to switch gears for a minute, because on this poll, what we have, 18 votes in the poll. All right, so which do you think is the strongest reason that some people choose a life of crime or failure? 28% said the friends that influence them. 50% said the family upbringing and influence. 6% said education and job opportunities. Interesting that only was 6%. And out of 18 people, that probably equals about 1 or 2 people. 17% says the environment, church, moral code. Educational and job opportunities are crime's worst nightmare. That's exactly how you get rid of crime. That church moral shit, that shit ain't never stop crime. Motherfuckers sell drugs right outside the church. But
while they singing crack rock and having wicked dope shots.
Right. With the with job opportunities and with educational opportunities, education gives you nothing but options. Because an education teaches you how to think. It builds pathways in your brain. See, when you lack education, you lack pathways. So without an educational system, and when I say education, I'm not just talking about school. I'm talking about people who will teach you things. People who will expand your horizons. People that will open you up to different options and cultures and ways of doing things and different ways to think. Because when you are around people who don't know shit, who don't read, who can't write well, and who don't comprehend very well, the opportunity, your brain is going to just know how to go north and south. That's all you got. North and south. As you expand your horizons, as you learn more, as you meet people from different cultures, as you see how other people do things that result in the same way that people that you know who are successful do things, but are doing them in a different way. Now, instead of your mind just going north and south, now you got northeast. Now you got southwest. Now you got northwest and southeast. Now you got longitude, latitude. You have all of these different ways that you can choose. Before, all you had was north and south. That's all you had. Education gives you the opportunity to try different things, to know different things that you can do. So when one thing fails, everything isn't a failure. Oh, nah, man, this didn't go the way it was supposed to go. But you know what? We can take this piece and now we can branch off this way and we can do that. And you know what? We can get funding from over here and we can get a grant from over there. And you know what? Guess what? We can get emergency subsidies over here and blah, blah, blah. We ain't got to pay back none of this shit. That's what an education gives you. And so when you take educational opportunities and then you have job opportunities, that your education can give you the opportunity to choose which one best suits you, whether you want the one that pays you the most money or the one that makes you more comfortable and confident. Now you take away job opportunities and you take away education, and you know what you get? You get a housing project. You get you get tenement buildings. You get drug alleys. You get ghettos. You get violence. People choose violence because they don't know how to work out their communication with people. So it's easy to learn, like, if I hit it, then it stops talking, or it stops moving, or it stops hitting me back. But when you start learning how to use your fucking brain, you learn, like, you know what? I can figure out a way to stop this bullshit for good. Mm-hmm. And it ain't with punching somebody in the face, because they'll punch you back. or they'll heal up and they'll learn how to beat you. So y'all just be two motherfuckers trying to beat the shit out of each other. Education and job opportunities build kingdoms. Lack of education and lack of job opportunities breeds ghettos. When you go into a housing project, and this is no disrespect to anybody who ever lived in the projects or grew up in the projects or whatever, but you know your neighbors don't know a lot, haven't gone to school a lot, but they go to jail a lot, and they run from the cops a lot. No, it's not all of them. Hell no. But it's way more than you can be comfortable with. That's why, regardless of what you say, people that don't live in the projects don't really feel comfortable going to the projects, whether you consider it to be stereotypical or whether it's just, hey, it's a safety move. You have a lot of lack of education and job opportunities in public housing. Living in public housing, you pay rent, but you don't pay gas. You don't pay electric. You don't pay water. You might pay for some cable or something. In the city of Philadelphia, you couldn't even have an outside cable company. You used to have a Wilco. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
I remember Wilco.
Yeah, Wilco was the projects. That was the projects cable. Mm-hmm. Everybody else had Time Warner, fucking Wade, and Comcast.
Damn. And you know what takes me up something what you just was talking about projects. In the black community, we would have projects, and we'll have what you just said about people that might not been that much educated, and they sold drugs in there, and the elevator stayed broke and this, that, and other. But across town in the white community, it could be the same thing going on in that same project, but they'll call them condominiums.
Well, I know white people who grew up in the straight up projects. Abbotsford, them projects out there in the Northeast. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And the white projects is the trailer parks. Same shit. It ain't safe in them damn trailer parks. All you get is a bunch of drugs, a shout out motherfuckers on drugs, alcohol, having a bunch of kids dirty as shit, don't know shit. Listen, man, like me and you was talking, like we was talking about yesterday. You know what I'm saying? White people and black people are the same in that neither one of them know their history. Neither one of them know their history. They both think they know their history, but they don't. But one knows a history that they think that they should be proud of, and the other one knows a history that they think that they should be ashamed of. Black people know a history that they think that they should be ashamed of for the slavery shit. And white people think that they know a history that they should be proud of because they were basically the victors or the governing party and in the history that they know. But they're both wrong. White people shouldn't be ashamed. They shouldn't be proud of that history, of that wickedness, of that deception, of that genocide. That's nothing to be proud of. That's nothing to be proud of. But they are conditioned to be proud of that.
Mm-hmm.
Black people were in this country were conditioned as slaves and then sharecroppers and the mental slavery kept going on and whatever. That's nothing to be ashamed of. You didn't choose that. That wasn't your fault. And you've come way farther from that. But it's hard to get all the way away from it because the mental part of it keeps us down. But mental slavery is not just a black thing. It's a anybody thing. When you are tied down to an ideology, a way of thinking, a way of life, and you don't even know. I don't know if you've ever seen this meme, but the first time I saw it, it blew my fucking mind. It had an elephant that was tied to a little wooden chair. It was chained. They had the one shackle on the elephant's leg and one shackle around the leg of that wooden chair. And the elephant couldn't go nowhere. That's slavery. That's what motherfuckers don't understand.
Because mentally, that elephant was groomed to stay there and don't go nowhere because of what he had on. He was there.
He didn't think he thought something would happen to him if he
left. There you go.
That was the part of slavery that motherfuckers do not understand. And that could apply to anybody in an abusive situation, anybody that had actually been in a chattel slave situation or an indentured situation. It's the same shit. So, like, take it back to what I was talking about with the whole violence thing. Like, when you lack education and job opportunities, but especially education, you try to solve a lot of your problems with violence. Well, when you have educational system, then you can chain somebody down to a little wooden chair that's not even bolted.
Mm-hmm.
So you can use your power, your educational power for good, or you can use it for bad, but it will be useful regardless. It'll give you the options to be able to do that. Without those educational opportunities, then you that north and south back and forth thinking, that's all you got.
And you know, what sends my mind in a tailspin. Today's youth, I can't talk because we had to go through the ringer to do what we had to do. Like when we had to get reports, we had to go to the free library, we had to go through the Dewey Decimal System, pull the paper out, go find a book, put the Dewey Decimal System card back in the thing, go to the damn machine, print out papers, go home, do the report. Mm-hmm. These kids today, they have it so fucking easy. Today's kids, they give them tablets to take home. Some of these schools. Mm-hmm. Fucking damn tablets to take home. And I say 75% of the households have a computer. A laptop or a regular tabletop computer. You got Google, you got YouTube, you got so much in the forefront to help you, but you choose not to get that help because you feel as though you want to follow, you want to give yourself to the streets or let the streets take you. You know, you don't want to put the work in. Today's youth don't want to put the fucking work in. They want fast money. They don't want that type of money that you got to work for, that mom and dad showed you what they had to do. You understand? If mom and dad showed you that, let's say take them out the equation. You seen grandmom and grandpa, let's take them out the equation. You seen your aunts and your uncles, even if you take them out the equation. What about your brothers and sisters? You seen somebody get up, get in the shower, get you ready get themselves ready for work and go out the door. Still remember my mom used to wake me up, get me dressed, get me breakfast, walk from Carpenter Street, walk from 20th and Carpenter all the way down to Broad and Carpenter, that's the C bus, and go to work. At the end of the day, she used to call, either if it was nighttime, she would call me or my brother, and we would walk down there and meet my mom and walk home with her. So at the end of the day, it was all we understood it. Like, we understand education is important. And I agree with you. When you live in a broken household, it is hard as shit for kids. You know, but see, they make it even harder by following that trend. And one of my nephew's moms was on drugs. So if she's on drugs and you want to sell drugs, do you think that's going to give her more help or make it even worse? Because if you get locked up or get killed, that's going to make them do more drugs. But if you go out here and become something meaningful, where so you can make money and break a cycle and bring yourself up, now you can help your mother get in a rehab. You can help your mother have a place to lay her head. You can benefit your mother better by doing something completely different than the norm. Well, she fucking up. I'm gonna fuck up too. That don't sound right to me.
It don't sound right to you, but if you grow up in that, you don't know how to break this cycle.
Let me just say this. If you grow up in that and you ain't got nobody in your ear to try to guide you away from that, I can understand that. But if you got somebody in your fucking ear trying to guide you away from it, and you tend to not want to, because you see your friends out there getting money hands over foot, nobody can tell you what to do. I yell to you, bro.
Yeah, but you gotta, man. We wanted fast money too. Shit, these motherfuckers. They fast money ain't. We grew up in the crack era. There wasn't no money. It wasn't no money. Them pockets was deep. Like this money would never be able to compare to the drug money of the 80s. Not even close.
Fuck no.
Not even close.
They don't understand. See, they don't understand that. When they was out here, they out here drilling for what? There's no you drilling to kill somebody and make a rap song.
But
you killing people to make a rap song. We said back in the day they was killing over fucking bricks and dollars.
But that drill shit is an extremely small percentage of the crime that's going on out here. The drug trade is still in full and total effect. But I want to ask you something. Do you think that opportunities and resources are the same thing?
Do I think opportunities and resources are the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
No, I think they're two different things.
Okay, what would you say the difference is?
Well, opportunities. Hold on, I gotta read this. I gotta recalibrate my mind on that. Opportunities and resources, the same thing. They couldn't be consistent with being one and the same, because with the opportunity that you get, you can develop resources that provide yourself a safe way of living and going in a positive direction.
Okay.
So they could be one and the same.
Okay.
They could be one and the same.
Okay. All right. The reason I asked you that is because I think that one feeds the other. Resources are the things that are available to you. That a person can be a resource. A company can be a resource. But opportunities are the chances that you have to take advantage of things. Opportunities are your chances to try something, to do something. So they can work together, but they're not exactly the same.
No, they're not exactly the same, because when I was just listening to you, if you get the right resources, they can bloom into great opportunities.
Yeah. So,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like your resources may be money. Like your resources, your resource can be a bank account where you can get a loan. Your resources could be your credit score. Your resources could be somebody you know that will invest in you. But your opportunities are the chances that you have to turn your resources or monetize your resources into something that can be beneficial to you. Of course.
To your livelihood, right? Most definitely.
Yeah. So opportunities and resources go hand in hand, but you can have an opportunity for something without any resources. You know, like a random opportunity can pop up. You didn't really have the resources. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, like if I have a manager or a booking agent or whatever, those are resources to be able to, you know, get gigs or whatever, auditions, you know, whatever that will give me some money. But you can just be out here. You can just be out here having a conversation with somebody, and somebody who has opportunities can overhear you and ask you, like, yo, you ever think about doing comedy, or have you ever spoken on stage, or have you ever thought about blah 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 blah? Now, I've known people who have gone out there in the streets and just looked for random people to give opportunities to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, of course, they gave them the people that they thought would be a good fit for the opportunities that they had. You know, but in that regard, they were acting as a resource. But resources can be untapped. They can be unrecognized.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how many times have you been in a jam and didn't really realize where you could get some help getting out of the jam? And then later on, after you already had to get through it in whatever kind of ways that you had to get through it, you know, one time when I was going through all that DUIs and shit, I was going through all these fucking DUIs and going back and forth to court and all of that. And I think I had already got convicted, or I was close to it. One time I was going to court and I saw one of my Penn State friends, a chick that I knew. And guess what? She worked at the CJC. I was like, huh? And yeah, she was like, yo, what you doing out here? Oh, I was like, yo, you know, I got these DUIs, man. I'm fighting as well. She was like, yo, you should have told me. I know the judge. I could have talked to the judge and the DA. We could at least got. I was like, motherfucker. Thousands of dollars of the lawyer later. You know what I mean? You know, I'm on my way to the motherfucking to my final court date. She was a resource I didn't know about.
But you know what's the best resource? Yourself, and telling yourself to stop drinking.
Nah.
My fault. You supposed to say fuck that shit, man.
Well, the thing is, I would never take credit for stop drinking. Like there was a force greater than me that did that. I had nothing to do with that. Yes, all I know is I can't take credit for that. I could want to, but I can't. I always say this, son. I always say everybody. When you don't have an addictive spirit, it's easy for you to pull away from certain situations. That's not beneficial to you. I had an addictive spirit.
I don't have an addictive spirit to something that I know is not beneficial to me. You know, and I have an addictive spirit to stupid shit, but I'm talking about like a drug, alcohol, anything of that magnitude. No. I have an addictive spirit to stupid shit that I should, like forgiveness. That's my addictive spirit. I forgive people too quickly. And I wish I didn't. You know, and that's the part that I can't. It's a part of, and the thing about it is that I don't like it, but then I love it because, number one, that's part of what my mom gave me, and that's also part of what God gave me. That's what He made me, turn me into being. You know, forgive. Not so much forgetting, you know, because soon as that same person does the same thing, we all have memory Rolodexes in our head. And you just scroll right down here to the name and imaginarily put that card in your memory Rolodex. And then when they do the same shit, you go back and forth and you know.
The one thing about knowing some things or learning some things, a lot of times you think that you came into knowledge like late. You thinking everybody already knew this shit, and I'm just getting this shit. Meanwhile, you may have learned this shit way before hundreds or millions of thousands of millions of motherfuckers have ever learned it. That's why it's so imperative that each one teach 100. Maybe they know, and maybe they never heard of it. But one thing is for sure, just like your children, just like your parents taught you how to think, and they taught you how to think in a myriad of ways, and they manipulated you in a myriad of ways, and they brainwashed you in a myriad of ways. Not all brainwashing is bad. There's plenty of good, positive brainwashing that don't even involve a religious cult. But if somebody is manipulating your mind into believing in yourself, believing in your strengths, focusing on your strengths, making yourself never get down on yourself as far as fearing failure or falling victim to too many stressful situations or depression or whatever, or getting to the point where you're starting to feel hopeless and helpless. That's positive brainwashing. And there are plenty of people out here who do it. And just like things that your parents may have said, like I find myself using proverbs and analytics and shit like that. You know how I talk. Always comparing one thing to another thing and all of that shit. Everybody don't understand that shit. And I've been told plenty of times, like, yo, you be talking crazy. Like, what does this have to do with that? They can't put it together.
Well, see, that's another thing. That's like, I think I said this to you before. I said, I always said, my mom passed away in 2020. And I say, my mom, her spirit hasn't came to visit me and this, that, and other. But then I found myself quoting things that she's taught me. And then I'm saying to myself, then I had to come to thinking that the spirit didn't come and visit me yet, because the spirit is within. Through all her teachings and all her things that she done taught me, she embedded part of her inside of me, whereas though I'm guiding myself through the words that she done taught me.
True. But like what I was getting ready to say was, you listen to the way that your parents spoke, and even the times when they didn't when you may not have understood or respected what they were talking about or whatever, or believed in what they were saying, it's still seeped into your brain. And when it was time for you to be able to use what they were giving you, you had it. You understand what I mean? So I think it's important for parents, elders, seniors to help the people that they know, not just the youth, but anybody, help them learn how to think. Because not everybody really understands how to think. I listened to you talk about how these kids in school, they have it easy because they have, they have calculators, they have tablets, they have phones, they have laptops, they can Google, they can do all of these kind of things. And the thing is, we didn't have those things. We had to use pen and paper or whatever. We weren't allowed to use calculators or none of that shit. But the thing is, we were taught how to not need it. They are not taught not to need it. So it's harder for them. It's hard for them even with all of these things, because they haven't been taught how not to need it. So the way that they approach having the answer right there is, for me and you, we can see that, like, look, the answer is right here. All you got to do is Google the shit. You know what I mean? It'll give you the equation. It'll even show you how to do it. But they don't look at it that way because they grew up in the shit. You know what I mean? It's just like if I grew up as a Nazi, if I grew up as a Nazi, and I mean, what do you mean hating Jews is wrong? What do you mean they shouldn't be put in the gas chamber? What do you mean black people are okay? What do you mean that a democratic government is good and this totalitarian thing is not this? What are you talking about? Because this is what I know. And it's working. This is what I know. This is what works for me and mine. It's been working for generations. It's working in my generation. Plus, you know, these kids nowadays, not only are they taught not to work without, they're not really taught how to work with pen and paper as much as we were, or to rely on building pathways in our brain in the same way as we were before. But like the way that they cheat is different than like the way that they cheat. We would look at that as, no, that's not cheating. That's just using your opportunities. But they haven't been conditioned that way. Like when you I always say now, it would be so hard for me to go back to school because the tools that they use in order to pass classes and even take classes now, I'm like, I don't look right. You know what I mean? Like it's different. It's a whole, I would have to recondition myself to be able to work with this, with having all the answers. Shit, we got to college. We thought it was a big deal that everything was multiple choice. Like we couldn't go wrong. Oh yes, we could. Take this fresh F. That's what the F is for, fresh. Like motherfucker, you either know the answers or you don't. We can give you A.
Pepper ketchup and mayonnaise on his ass. Eat that.
We can give you multiple choice. We can give you A, B, C, D, E, F. Or we can give you just yes or no. You don't know the answer, you gonna fail this shit. You know what I mean? It don't matter whether you got you could do it in 20 to 25%, or whether it was just 50%, yes or no, true or false. You don't know the answer, you gonna get it wrong.
Damn. Listen, son, I'm gonna tell you this, man, and I ain't trying to get off subject. On the real, I didn't learn how to spell some words until I looked at my sister's report card. One time, her report card spelled feed, F-E-E-D. I was like, God,
you know what? You gotta chill. You gotta chill.
One time, I had a name, Fifi. I was like, is that your girlfriend? She said, that's my report card.
Oh man.
My mom whipped her ass one time with a extension cord. Every time we came in the house, she walked in before the lights came on, bro.
Yo, she got the extension cord beaten?
Shit. My mom was penny mom off a good time.
Oh. Yo,
listen, man, I had to fake asthma attacks around my mom.
Listen, now you told us that before. Now I see why. Like, listen, I heard a lot about the extension cord, but thank God I ain't never see it.
Yeah, my mom.
I didn't really know what people was talking about.
Yeah, Mom Dukes. Well, she used to listen, bro. Listen, my mom. I never forgot my older brother. He caught a Charlie horse, right? She didn't go in there and massage it. She went in there and just started flicking it on his waist. Like she was punching the shit out of his waist. I'm looking at my mom like, you fucking She tried to punch the Charlie horse out. I thought she was fucking him up. Mom, why you beating him up, Mom? Why, Mom? Why not? I'm like, damn. That's the shit that you remember as a kid. You be traumatized. And then as you get older, you be like, God damn.
Traumatized just listening.
Listen, the thing about it is, and another thing about our generation, a little bit of the generation that's behind us, We gotta stop dumbing ourselves down to benefit this generation. Stop trying to be on their level of talking. Stop it. You're not on their level. Stop walking around talking about what's up, YN. Because if you calling them young niggas, then you a DA, a dumbass. Because that's not something that's in your, that shouldn't be in your lexion of words. Sometimes you gotta stop it. Stop walking around when you see a young boy eating a hot dog. You talking about, well, yo, why you eating them glizzies? Anybody in their 50s or above, or a little bit in their mid 40s or in their 40s, if you let these kids say to you something about a glizzy and you talking to them about a glizzy, always remember, if you're looking at a piece of food as a fucking dick, then you're dead. Not the person that's eating. You putting that in your, if you can imagine a hot dog looking like a penis, then you already got one. I'm hungry. Stop telling you what you say.
Yeah, I'm just laughing at you.
That's the truth. Stop dumbing yourself down because you can't teach them or protect them from the streets or talk to them. When you put yourself down to their level, they're not going to come back up to your level. They're going to keep you right down there. You're not OG. You're John.
Well,
you're not. OGs are the ones that try to guide them. When you hear them on the bus talking about N-word this and N-word that, and you pull a couple of them to the side and say, yo, have a conversation with them about that. When you hear young girls on the bus talking the same thing, have a conversation with them about that. Spark the interest in their brain. Every time I hear something like that, I hear young kids talking about that, I say, you know what? I tell them, I say, it's not good. Number one, it's not a good look. And when you're out in public, that's how the other people look at you. And if you really want to see what a nigga look like, if you really want to, go look at Eyes on a Prize. It's a documentary that was on PBS, and you can see why they call you niggas, because they had us hanging from trees, smiling and giggling after they hung us. You really want to, you do your homework before you use that word all willy-nilly as if it's something that you should be walking around using it. Guide them into other directions of thinking instead of trying to be up there on their level. You're not on their level. Just because you're riding around listening to drill rap doesn't make you a kid again. Just because you sitting up here doing their dancing and talking type shit and for them and all this other wording that they're using doesn't put you in the same category as them. You're just John to them. Go back up to OG, bro.
So what's your solution? What's your solution to keep motherfuckers out of the streets or choosing the streets?
The solution of trying to, and the thing about it is that we was talking about this earlier, and we always talk about this. The solution, first of all, us as elders, us as men and women, especially us as men, we have to, when we see, I'm not saying at all times we have to say something to these young men or women on the street. But from the ones that I've seen in Center City or the ones that I've seen on SEPTA buses, some of them want to listen. And it's out of that bunch of 10 that listen, one comes out the group and heard what I just said, then I did something correct. Because that one is going to tell another one. Even if he don't follow the trend of what I'm saying, even if that person, at least he listened at that time. So we have to, us as elders, we got to guide. Just like we just said, it takes a village. We still part of the village just because it's not in a community. Just like right now, we in the chat. This is our village. Meaning we don't have to know people in the chat to give information and to guide people in the right direction. So that part right there, we have to communicate. We need to guide. On the city part, we're from Philly. And I'm pretty sure in other parts of the United States, they done took so much from these young people to benefit the narrative of other sections of their city, and it's not cool. You done took away trade schools. You done took away summer jobs. You done took away internships. You took all this shit away, and now what do you think they're gonna do? You didn't close down fucking community centers. You done all this stuff. So what you think they're gonna do? They're gonna chill on the corners. They're gonna find the other people to gravitate to. Whether the street take them or they gravitate to the street. One thing or the other is going to happen. So we can sit back and we can be accountable for some of the situations that's going on here. But at the end of the day, we also have to be the ones that's responsible enough to know how to fix it. How can we do this as not just a community, but as a person that elder, or as a person that's the active father of children that don't have fathers around. Some of these kids never even heard the word "I love you." Some of them never heard that. Or be careful, or be blessed, or I'm praying for you. So when you don't hear that shit, you're going to gravitate where, even if you don't hear it, if you don't hear positive things, you're going to get negative. You're going to do negative things. Just like I always say, if you cannot give negative input without positive influence. So while you out there getting that negative shit, I'm going to give you some positive shit that can, if you let that thing marinate around your cerebral cortex and let that shit just sit and let it boil over in your mind, you will find a way to get out of situations and be great. But these young people today have to learn how to listen. And the older people have to learn not to gravitate to their generation. You got people like Mason, you got fucking Cameron, you got, Wallow and Gilly, and they sit up here and Pauls, Clizzy, and stuff. That's not your generation. Don't have fun with that generation with that bullshit. And no matter how much good you're doing, it takes away from it because they still looking at the bullshit, the corny shit that you're dealing with them on. Being on a level. So if you sitting up here, you talking some major shit, and then all of a sudden you eat a hot dog, somebody mentioned Glizzy, and now you joking with them about Glizzy. No, you just wipe all that positive shit you just said out your mouth away. Because they're looking at that funny shit and that cornball shit because that's not real. The real part is the serious shit. That the fact, Gilly, that you lost your son, and all of us in this city, and a lot of people across this country, and even some around the world, still feel that empathy and sympathy for you. We still feel that for you.
All right, hold on. So let's break it down. So you feel like the trades in the schools and the after school jobs are the things that will keep the youth out of the streets or off the negative side of the streets.
Say that again?
You feel like job opportunities like after school jobs and putting vocations back in the schools?
Most definitely. Definitely.
All right.
Because they took that shit the fuck away. If you take away vocational schools, you take it out. Because not everybody want to go to college. They have a school up in Lancaster, PA called Stevens Tech University. And that's a trade college.
Mm-hmm.
So, at the end of the day, people can go to trade schools. I have friends that one of my friends got their own auto body shop. One of my friends got their own fucking auto mechanic shop. I know one of my boys that's a plumber. Another one of my boys, he's a fucking carpenter.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I went to school for electrical engineering. I just so happen to be a chef. I love doing what I do for a living, as being a chef. Not everything you go to school for, you're going to be doing when you graduate. Because you do what you You do what you love and you love what you do. Everybody's not gonna love what they do once they get out of that college and they go out here in the workforce and they find themselves pulling their fucking head out. You know?
Yeah. Yo, my bad. I'm reading my man Jason comment. I missed this shit. He said,
No.
he said, Sunset 52, I was cured of heavy drinking after a night spent at your apartment floor. Peach Cisco was the devil. Tell your sister I'm still sorry about what happened to her little area rug. Oh my God. Yeah, he definitely switched to weed after that. Like, fuck that drinking shit. Oh my God. I forgot about that shit. We talking about like 91, 92.
Listen, bro. One thing about that piece of rock is feminine yet manly. When you go there, you go, yo,
no, this wasn't Ciroc. This was Cisco.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was a whole different animal.
Yeah, shit, yeah.
That was a different animal. You know what I mean? Like, in the movie, Ray, when, Ray Charles was just smoking weed at first. And then, but his band members, they was fucking around with that heroin. And Ray was saying that he wanted to try it. He was like, yo, man, this ain't no weed. This is boy. Have you nulling boy? That's what Cisco was. The people who just drunk 40. Like, yo, this ain't no fucking malt liquor. This ain't no cooler. This little joint right here, this shit had you fucked to hell. And it did. Oh my God, I forgot about that shit.
That was almost on the same level of Mad Dog 2020.
Yo, you gotta understand, me and Jason go all the way back to 6th and 7th grade. I'm a year older than him. So he was in the 6th when I was in the 7th. He was in the 7th when I was in the 8th. So, and I didn't know him well back then. Then we wind up going to the same college and all of that kind of shit. He a real smart dude, went to Central and all of that shit. He was one of them. So, so like we go so far back, like that motherfucker got memories of us that I might not have. I ain't got them memories without. Memories went out with a 40 of Power Master, some shit like that. You know what I mean? Like I can't get that back. But yeah, as we get ready,
I want to tell you something. There's a person I don't know if you ever seen this person in the chat. Her name is Divine President 101.
Yeah, I'm peeping.
I think you might want to read. She's been in here before.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, you might want to read some of her stuff because she's been saying some deep shit.
Oh no, I've responded to some of her shit. She on it.
Yeah.
I think she's from the UK.
Well, if she's from the UK, she's doing okay. What the shit she's saying?
Okay, that's what's up. But yeah,
okay, because I appreciate when people get in this chat and they just get up in there and they on the same vibe we on.
Right.
They on the same vibe we on. We sit up here, we joke, we play, we cry. But at the end of the day, it's all love. We all want to we all want to try to help one another get to that next level. Whether that's us, whether that's the youth in the community, whether that's anybody, our senior citizens, we all want to help.
Yeah, man. I like as we get ready to get on up out of here, I just wanted to say that I don't know if there's a concrete solution to get the youth off of the streets. But just like I was talking about how lack of opportunities and lack of education will end you up in the projects or in a ghetto, quote unquote. Well, I say that we increase the educational opportunities and the job opportunities, and the likelihood that will catch on is a lot stronger. When you teach a person how to think, then they will use that power of their thinking to find their way out of negative situations. Now, of course, you can positively find ways to make a negative situations even more negative, because if you like are an educated dope boy versus the uneducated dope boy, you might be able to get ahead that way. However, the uneducated dope boy might just find a solution to you by just taking you on up out of here. Like, nope, I couldn't outthink him, so I just I had to get my corner back. I ain't know no other way. Sorry, I ain't reading no books.
I know we balls.
Look, I ain't reading no books. I'm still north and south thinking. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I got.
How much money you making? All right, well, let's go around the corner for a minute, get some to eat.
No, I ain't talking about that. Like, there have been plenty of corner boys that had their own operation. They just didn't run the operation smartly.
Yeah.
So they use guerrilla tactics or aggressive tactics in order to keep their operation going, rather than things where maybe they use a more diplomatic approach. But like I said, but the other thing is, I believe that everything starts with the foundation of your parents, the foundation of your elders, the foundation of your teachers, the foundation of your coaches, the foundation of any and everybody that's available for you as a resource that can set you on a positive track. Almost everybody, even the most thugged out cats that we've ever known, were probably skilled in something that somebody tried to get them to take a bigger interest in at some point in their lives, and they just didn't.
They want to listen. Yup.
You know what I mean? It could have been sports. It could have been chess. It could have been science. It could have been math. It could have been swimming. It could have been basket weaving. It could have been, taking a watch apart, putting it back together. There have been plenty of people who were autistic that still had really, really high intelligent skill in some area of their lives. And when somebody takes you under their wing and they try to show you how you can do something with what you have, even though you may not take that opportunity right there because you might be too far in the street wind, you too far in the winds of the streets to listen to anything that anybody positive has to say to you. But when you need it, your mind and the universe will dial that back up for you, and you'll be able to get it. Hopefully, the streets don't put you in the coffin either in the coffin or in the incinerator first. Hopefully, I have people in my life where the bodies were unrecovered.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's what the drug game has done for me.
Mm-hmm.
It has gave me.
And them thoughts don't go away.
No, they don't go away.
Don't go the fuck away.
And unfortunately,
you think you healed, but it comes back.
Well, you either liked somebody or you didn't. And even people that you don't like can have an impact on you because you get so used to seeing them. You know what I mean? And it's just like even though you may not like the heat of the sun, you're used to seeing it there. And you recognize that when it's not there, it's dark.
That's deep.
So, yeah, we gotta fix our families. We gotta fix our families. Lack of families.
The only thing I feel as though you're absolutely right. Fix the family, fix the community. Right now, I just want to. I'm prayers up on everybody that's in the chat, and also to this other generation, also to the country, man, because so much turmoil is going on. We just all need to, calm it down and be there for one another. There's no. I'm not talking about black, white, nationality, religion. I'm talking about each other. You know?
I mean, that sounds good, but the thing is, we have to learn what's good. We don't. There are too many of us who really just don't know. Their foundation is fucked up. That foundation is in bad shape. And too many of us are learning the wrong way how to do certain things. Do you think it started at the nucleus, which is at the top? I think it's
the greats?
No, I think it starts right with whoever birthed you. They're your first teachers. And if they ain't right, you're already on the wrong path. Now, a lot of times, a lot of people have been raised by their grandparents. Good luck. But 9 times out of 10, if you've been raised by your grandparents, it's because there's a problem with your parents.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good look. And well, let me put it this way. It's a save. It's a save in lieu of a better, the way that it's supposed to be. Every child was created by a mother and a father, and that's who they should have as their first resource. It's not like that. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you that we have to have 2-parent families. What you do what you should have is 2 parents available. They don't have to live in the same house, but you should be able to see examples of them co-parenting and putting you above of their personal feelings for each other. And we don't always have that.
Because, I know we got to get ready to go, son.
We way over time.
The thing about it is that they can't, parents. Do me a favor and don't put yourselves in front of your kids. I don't care what the fuck y'all argue with. It's about the child.
Okay, cool.
It's about the child, because when you don't make it about them, then it hurts them.
Well, I don't have a real problem with parents arguing. I have a problem with them not working it out.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But when you arguing and you're not working it out, they're stuck in the middle. And at the end of the day, with them being stuck in the middle, it's not beneficial to them.
I would rather those arguments to go, well, no, I want him or her to go to Central. No, I want him or her to go to E&S. Those are the kinds of arguments I would like to see. Like, no, he gonna go to my alma mater, not yours.
And if the man,
but no, because you talking too much. You ain't gonna have me going. No, we're not gonna have. We're not going to 2:30.
No, I'm not gonna have another son. That's all I want to say. Women who have sons, if they're not doing right with you, send them to their fathers, because at that point in time they might need their father in their life.
No, because that's not always the solution. A lot of niggas, is fucked up. A lot of niggas is fucked up. You can't go to a father. You can't go to a father that's fucked up.
Son,
yeah, he a man, but
experience.
Okay, I understand.
I'm just talking about my experience.
All right, but so how you going to announce it? You already done. You're cooked. Now these motherfuckers are still simmering.
Right, but I'm talking. Well, if they know the father is on the straight and narrow, and the father is doing his thing, and he's married, and everything is going on that positive direction. If he needs his father, let him be with his father. For the betterment of him.
All right, that's cool. Now,
I understand where you coming from. I agree 1,000% on where you coming from.
Motherfuckers got to be right. I ain't just going to turn the motherfucker over to, all right, well, he a man, so fuck it. You know what I mean? Let him try. No.
I mean, especially if he's selling drugs.
Or on them, or on some bullshit, or fucking around with chicks that's his son's age. Come on, man. Yeah. Anyway, I do believe that kids should be with the most responsible and capable parent, male or female. Does not matter.
True.
But the reason that I push the whole family angle so much is because children who don't have families are more likely to make a gang their family. That's what we're working with. And although we may not have organized gang, recognizable gangs in Philly like the Bloods, Crips, GDs, what's that one that I could never fucking seem to remember? Vice Lords or any of those, any of those cats. They still exist and they become the family for those cats who didn't have a family. And that's a problem. So we have to fix the family. It doesn't have to, my family doesn't have to be your family, but my family has to be as effective as your family is. My family has to be as effective as my family has to be as effective with me as your family is with yours. And if we're going to be competing against anything, we should be competing to see who is treating each other the best and giving each other the most positive opportunities, so we can break these chains and reverse these cycles. Because right now we are fucked to hell. We gotta get out of here, man. I want to thank you for coming on once again, my brother. Appreciate you,
man. Look, son, Christ-like. Life, how I feel about you, man. I love you like my brother, always will, always has. We'll talk again in the AM, the PM, or whatever. We'll talk tomorrow.
I got you.
So I'll let your boy, man. Much love to everybody in the chat. Be safe today.
All right. Good looking, man.
All right. Oh, did you go back over the poll?
Oh, it's up to, let me see. Let's go to the poll. 27 votes now. Okay, let me see what we got. Friends that influence them, 26%. It's pretty much the same. Family upbringing and influence, 48%. Education and job opportunities, only 4%. That actually went down. And environment, church, and moral code, 22%. Yeah, so okay.
Still pretty much the same.
Pretty much. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
man.
All right,
good brother.
All right, I'll holler at you.
All right, son.
All right. All right, y'all. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious July 16th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special, because they are special, because they are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They get number one out the box. Shabazz Brunson, and also April Anderson, Wakita Stevens, Yolanda Lynch, Dark Chocolate Ross, Danielle Wedderburn, Carol Ferris Nelson, and last but not least, Cedric Niles. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious July 16th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, the rock out. Rock on and do the damn, rock out. Rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, I said, go hard, go for yours, and remember what. The streets are watching, the streets are talking, yeah, the streets will take you down like a stalk when You are out there for too long, no matter whether you're rapping or singing the new song. It's like you're out there with nothing but a thong in the wintertime. The shit is going to take you down a life of crime. And that shit ain't the way that you should move. But I can't tell you what to do and show improve. Unless I can give you something that you don't have already. How can I tell you not to be out there, Teddy? Riley was a great producer, losing yourself in your craft and you don't know the half. Motherfuckers might laugh because you don't want to be on the corner all your life like the shit is trife. A wife, kids, a Volvo station wagon, a shaggy dog. Ain't nothing wrong with that shit, my dog. And I'ma tell each and every one of y'all, I'ma make sure I get this money and I'm standing tall. But it ain't even about the dough. I'm just trying to show you how to live a better life and how it go. And what you reap, you sow. So when I'm out there, I be making sure my head is on a swivel clear. Because you might get me right over there. Or if I move over there, then you move over there. Trying to get me, trying to take me out, trying to take me well from my kids and everybody that think I got clout. It ain't about a chain, a ring, or bracelet. I ain't trying to have 20 to life, and I ain't trying to face it. But if you try to go with me, and I'ma go with you, and I'ma make sure I eliminate the problem all through my life. I had to fight for mine, like, you know, the one on Color Purple. What's her name? I think her name was Miss Celia or somebody. Yo, it was like, you know, I'm talking about Miss Celia. What's her name? And Whoopi Goldberg. You know what I'm talking about. Sometimes my brain, you heard, it don't be working right. But it's going to catch up because everything is all that about the shit I sketch up. It's like a work of art. I remember from the start when I was just a little child, think about running wild, hang jumping second and third floors. Now I be wondering what the fuck was all that shit for? I look at the heavens and ask myself why in my head, and all of my homies back in the day had to die because they had to try. Yeah, they was scrambling hard. Everybody wasn't meant to make it at the same time, God. But as long as you stay on the right path, you count 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you got the English math. And if you learn enough of that shit, you going to hit. It's just like the lottery. I ain't trying to let you body me. I'm going to be here as long as I can. I'm keeping my eyes open and I'm making sure that I scan to my right, to my left. I know that my right looks like my left to you, but let me show you what to do. I'm true to myself. I'm true to my peace. I'm true to the way that I act. I sow what I reap, and I'm going to make sure that I go down the right way because I ain't trying to be out here and trying to live another day. Listen to what I say. Maybe you don't like my rhymes. Maybe you think I should shut it down. Yo, one time, I say check 1, 2. I do the thing like you. I do the thing like me, and we gonna really see. Yo, give me the dice. And yo, 4, 5, 6. I never played CeeLo before, but I'm still in the mix. And we can play a little dice, get a little nicer. Don't drink no more, but I be still be chilling for sure. Sometimes I feel like I'm high and I ain't taking nothing. I'll be wondering what's going on in my mind. Am I fronting? Am I stunting? Yeah, I wear a little gold, little ice, you know, try to get nice. I give advice only when it's warranted, because I can't really tell you how to live your life. Warning you, kid. And there's a lot of things out here that might take you down, and I really want to see you around. It made me feel good when I saw my young thugs. He's not a YN. He's a real man who can make a better way. And I see that he is getting the shit, and I see him on another brighter day. Hey, I'm the end of this thing, so I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow. Yo, queens and kings, I appreciate y'all coming through. That's word. And I'm gonna do this shit again and again. Word, you heard? Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death, resuscitate y'all, and love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow night with another Daily Go Getimism show, 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Y'all know we do the everyday thing. I want to thank all of y'all for coming through. Please, before y'all get up out of here, please hit the like button. I know a lot of y'all didn't. But they ain't buy nothing. Please hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel. But more importantly, make sure you bring your ass in here tomorrow night, because we're going to be talking about some fly shit. And I'm going to tell you what we're going to be talking about tomorrow night, because this shit crazy. Tomorrow night, we're going to be talking about happy people need therapy too. I want y'all to start thinking about that. Happy people need therapy too. Happy people need therapy too. Start fucking with that. Till tomorrow, my friends. Till tomorrow, my people. Till tomorrow, my loves. I holla. Peace.